Can't tell if I'm on or not, guys. Mine's not loading. Looks good to me. For this leather stuff. Leather stuff. Looks good to me. For this. Just doing that slow stuff today. I wonder. Let me go check my phone real quick. Make sure everything is. Ava Rose said, "Popping in to say hi. Hope the stream goes well. My sleep schedule is absolutely out of whack, and I'm dead tired." Ava Rose, we understand that. Sleep. I don't know if this stream's gonna work because looks like they're having some connectivity problems. And if it's like yesterday, I'll bow out again and just keep getting stuff done here. I've learned that it's not, and I'm not upset with YouTube. This is kind of how it works. This spot right here needs to be tanned a bit. I might cut that off just because of that. But my name's Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. I have no idea what's going to happen today. It seems like it's kind of up in the air here. But I know what I'm going to do, and that's I got to brain tan some stuff. This is bark tan leather here. This is getting real dry. I want to brain tan this while it still has any kind of flexibility to it. So I made a brain emulsion. You came to see my brains, so I'm going to show them to you. We're going to brain tan some stuff, and that's what we're going to do. Sorry, I slowed down and messed the rhythm up. I'm going to brain tan some stuff. Maybe I should start with this piece here because it's so close to drying out. You want to get that thing moisturized, and then we'll put the hide back up there. Doesn't really matter if I get a little on there though. I may break it over this little beam here too. I actually haven't done this with this in a minute. See how much different the color is when it's not moisturized. I'm going to apply some brain. This is emulsion I made with warm water and brain material, actually from this animal that you're seeing. And it's got olive oil. I also put some other essential oils in there, some rosemary and some other little oils, oregano oil. It's kind of, that's really more for the other leather because it's smoked and it smells bad. To me, I don't think nobody wants to put on a piece of leather that, in my opinion, that smells like the fireplace or like a campground or a smoking pit or something, you know. Though this might need to be rehydrated first because it's so rigid. It's like leather armor. It may need to go back into, like what I did the other day to get it soft again was just put it between two towels. But I would like to have it softened today enough that I can apply this solution and get some elasticity out of it. I wish I could kind of explain the texture of this stuff, but it's kind of like it fills the water with oil. So you have a milky like water when you have an emulsified oil. I'm kind of being sloppy with getting it on here, but I'm afraid I'm losing time with this one here. But no, I guess you could probably, I shouldn't say that. You can go back. That would be false information. You can always go back a step or two. So I shouldn't throw oil on there. But this is a lot of water in this mixture too. There's a good amount of brain. I'd say 2 or 3 ounces of brain in there. And then a good amount of olive oil, probably a half a cup. 2 egg yolks in this mixture here. I think this needs to be rehydrated between towels again. So the texture of this leather here is like saddle leather or like belt leather or potentially like armor. It's very, very firm. And I'm not going to give up on it, but I'm not going to spend the whole live doing this one because I think this needs to be put between a couple of towels before I try this. Or thrown back in the bin. You can always tan it more. You notice on this one, it's real dark on the thin skin, like the belly skin, and then it's got two tones, like a dark brown and a light brown. I think that's able to be darkened if you put it in tannins longer. But let's move my beam. Hey everybody, how you doing? My name's Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Thanks for being here. This is a piece of leather that I made, and it's dry, but I'm still working it because I'm not happy with the texture. I want it to be softer, a little, no, not buckskin, but a little softer than this. And I don't mind putting lines into it either because they'll go away as soon as you rehydrate it too. Those fibers, they want to break apart if you tease them outward. And then you introduce oils in there and hope that it gets softer. That's what you do. I was working it on the back of a chair. Again, a brain-based solution here. Well, not really brain-based. It just has kind of the same amount of, I know it sounds awesome when I say that. Everybody's like, wow, brains? Gross. Brains. This was actually bark tan, though. This is a piece of veg tan leather that I made, the first one, as a matter of fact. The other thing you can do on here, just see, I'm just learning this stuff for the first time, too. Y'all, learn with me. I'm a fast learner, but because I put myself into these things, and I have that freedom and luxury due to the gifts that folks have given me on this channel. So thank you to Carrie, if Carrie's out there. Shout out to Carrie and the other members, but especially Carrie for her generous gift that she gave us recently. It keeps the channel going. Thank you, Carrie, wherever you are. Carrie Frasca, shout out. And shout out everyone else. Appreciate you being here. This is a piece of deer leather. This is it's been veg tanned or bark tan. I used all kinds of stuff, man. Acorns and pecans, bark from a mimosa tree. All kinds of stuff went into the making of this piece of leather. A ton of labor. So, you live and you learn. As far as leather, it's structurally good leather. Maybe it's not perfect looking. I think you smell it, you feel it, it's a strong piece of leather. It needs to be re-moisturized, I think, and then treated with more brain material. But see, it did sink in there. Let's see if we can put it in on the flesh side here and get somewhere with that. Other thing you can do is actually make this fat liquor is what they call this. It's one word. I mean, you need an unabridged dictionary for words like that usually. But the word is fat liquor, and that's describing this material here. Right here, this it smells really good because I added like rosemary oil and oregano oil. It's got some frankincense and myrrh in there. It's amazing smelling. So doing everything, trying to do everything the right way, natural way and stuff. Looking for stuff in the chat, not seeing much. So y'all just drop a thought in the chat. Say hello. We love to say hi to new people. We are a growing channel though, and we are proud of the progress we made recently. You know, we got our first 1 million views back in September, and now we're at 3 million views. So that type of growth, we're all about that here. We want to meet you, and we love meeting new people here at Dad's Workshop. So thanks for being here. Definitely double tap that screen, like this video. Right now, I'm trying to re-moisturize this piece of leather that I've been working on. I've been finishing recently. I'm in the finishing process of it. There was a video I watched where the guy said, "This is so," and sorry if my fingernails have tannins in them. They're not dirty. There is something in this process that is very, very satisfying when you turn a piece of, when you make a piece of leather and it's a functional piece. So I haven't had a piece of clothing made out of it yet, but once we do here, you will know. And I've got these furs here too. This is a situation where you can take this tool here that I made. I made a crude one, but called a slicker, and kind of flatten it. This is what we would call the grain side or the hair side here. We got damage on the grain side there. There's several pieces of damage I think I'm not going to repeat. The hide is really like in good condition. Let me kind of lift this up so everybody can see it. So that's that, right? And actually really helps to run this over this beam. Animals are not square, so they don't want to be made into a square. Even after death, the skin doesn't want to be pulled into square, perfect geometric shapes. That's why you have to stretch these. And there's a lot of people who are better at stretching than I am. I'm lazy when it comes to the stretch part because I want to be able to manipulate it. And once you put it up on that stretching board and you attach it with all those ropes and stuff, it's like you can't really, not much you can do besides wait forever. I just put them on plywood. Let me go check my phone, see what the chat is, because I think I'm missing chat. Yesterday there was some issues with it. Not my internet, I don't think. I think this is, over time I've learned this is YouTube. And it's not really us as live streamers. I used to even take it personally when I'd be streaming and that the thing would like drop down. Viewership would drop down, and it's not normal. It would just like go very, very low, and you flick between different live streams and they'd all be low viewership. You realize that something was going on with YouTube's server, whatever was carrying it all. Right here at the neck, the skin is real thick. So I did hear someone say when you're making crafts from the leather to take the neck off of this and use that separately because of its natural want to curve inward. But mine seems a little bit on the roughed out side, like it's pretty roughed up. I think you probably would want to keep that with where, and also there's a split here. So when it dried, I let it dry too much, or I was too rough on it, and the grain split. I can put it back in tannin solution, and it'll fix that. Like over time, the tannins will get in there and repair that. It's crazy. But do I want to put this in a tannin and wait another several months? It could be for that to repair itself naturally, or just kind of skip that spot, make sure I don't cause any more cracks, and keep it moving from there, you know? Seems like though there's a big difference between like craft leather and handmade leather that people make. Doesn't matter how they tan it at home. Um, and then the commercial stuff you can buy at a leather store, that it looks really good. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know. I could see myself liking. It's like homemade food versus McDonald's. You know, some days you probably want homemade food, right? I haven't had fast food in so long, guys. Years, literally. Ralph, what's up, man? Thanks for the likes, folks. I'm gonna roll this one up because I think I'm gonna finish moisture. Oh no, it's taking on some. Let's go ahead and finish the top on this. I'll put it up here like this, and y'all can see the flesh side, looking pretty janky. This would be the suede side. Here. I'm just trying to. This has got a lot of moisture in it, but I don't want to use this all up on this leather here. I planned on using this on some other pieces. You could probably add water, warm water, to this mixture and stretch it out a little bit. I put a number of oils in there, along with, as I have mentioned several times, the brain material that's in there. Trying to rehydrate this a little bit here so I can kind of work it again. It's real rough down here at the bottom too. You want to break the fibers, but you don't want them to break in ways you don't want them to break. That makes sense. Just checking the chat, y'all. Happy holidays to everybody. I think it's the second day of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah if you're Jewish. And happy holidays to everyone, whatever holiday you may celebrate. And welcome to everyone, even if you don't celebrate holidays. We love everyone. The fiber is so, I mean, it dries, veg tanning. It dries this leather so hard. It is like, I can see how armor was made out of leather for sure. It's really incredibly tough. I'm doing this barehanded. I have gloves. I want to do it barehanded so I can feel it. I need the tactile instinct. I don't want to lose that because I use gloves to learn how to do this. And my understanding is you want to break these fibers up and you want to make sure that it is at the consistency that you're looking for whatever you're making. I want something in the middle, so soft enough to use as clothing, but potentially you can dry it a little bit and make it into belts and stuff. Shoes. This definitely is like belt or shoe leather right now for sure. And you see how those light streaks are being put in there by me breaking it over this beam. That's not like permanent. You moisturize it. It fills those cracks in, and they seal back up. You know, it's kind of crazy how it works. And also, if it does stay, you throw it back in the tannin bath again, and it'll fix. You know, over time. best way to re-moisturize these is to apparently put them between two like towels at field capacity, like not so not dripping wet, right? Your towels are filled with water, but not soaking and sopping wet. You roll them up with two of those moist towels overnight, and it'll be soft again. And then you got to add more moisture. And as it was drying, I started to feel it. I was like, it's pretty close to how I want it. Then it dried up, and I realized it is still really firm, you know. But definitely it's allowing me to work it right now in a way it wasn't before. If I'm missing your chat, I apologize. Let me go check real quick. Boopity boop boop. Ralph's up in here. Welcome, Ralph. Oh, was it spinning? I didn't realize that, man. See, it's kind of, they go through these days where it's like this. I don't know. All right, now we're down kind of towards halfway down this hod here. If we're going top to bottom from, I believe that's neck down to the bottom. I'm just gonna add the rest of this kind of a little bit on the quick side because I'm not gonna really try to work this. I just want to rehydrate it a little bit so I can work it later. This is the flesh side too, right? So if you're making something suede, even though this is not very good suede, this will be the side you're using. The thing about the lecithin in the brain and in the egg yolks is that it moves the moisture throughout the solution. It's an emulsifier, so that ability, if you get your hands covered, then you're basically applying as evenly as possible the entire aqueous solution to the piece, right? Just my theory, I guess. Oh, it's coming back. It's freezing and coming back. If we freeze, guys, I'm not worried about it. We'll go again. Hopefully they'll get it straight by tomorrow. It's not the creators or anything. It's the YouTube and the platform. I figured this out after doing hundreds of these live streams. When it does that, don't ever think that's the creator doing something. Thank you for the like. Appreciate it. Double tap that screen, like this video. My name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Right now, I'm working on a piece of leather here. This is a piece of leather that I made from a deer hide. I'm breaking it. That's what they call this. Trying to soften it against this beam here so that it's more workable as it's re-dries again, because I've been adding more moisture to it over and over again to try to rehydrate it, because it's still a little bit too on the firm side for me, for what I want. So what you're seeing is me working it, breaking it against the beam, kind of trying to break the fibers up, pull the fibers apart. If you know a lot about this, give me some tips in the chat. Everybody else, though, appreciate you being here. Yeah, this is a deer hide here, so it's medium thick, not super thick like a cow hide or bison hide. Like I was saying earlier, super satisfying, man. You know, the solution I'm using here is made with brain material. I use probably 2 ounces of this. It's actually this deer's brain. Uh, this deer was a we'll call it roadkill. I haven't hunted this season, so these are all like basically salvaged animals. Thanks, Heath. People awful quiet today, man. It may be that their chat's not working like it should, or there's something wrong with their whole platform. This stuff should sink right on in there with this. I'm trying to keep it warm, but it's a little cooler outside here in this garage. Maybe I'll put the heater next to it. So and also there's tallow too you can use if this doesn't work. I've been collecting tallow from roadkill to use for this purpose. It'll deeply penetrate the fibers. If nothing else will soften it, the tallow should. I'm not spending a lot of time worrying about these edges. You see the dark bits because I'm going to trim those off most likely. My main focus is this center section of leather. Basically, you probably can use your imagination to find that. The center section of leather here is what I'm going to use most likely. It's going to be the bulk of the quality leather on this. I'm going to use the rest of the stuff, but I'm focused on really making sure that this bit here that you see is nice and workable. See some lumps in it. I'm using this liquor to see if I can kind of press out any lumps that are in that center section. How's everybody doing? Welcome. And I'm not trying to be ASMR, but I am into what I'm doing. I don't mind. I guess it's kind of going like that today. I usually yap. Just kind of working it, guys. Working it. This little spot up here is not moist at all, though. Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense. That's the only ungotten spot right now. Ungot spot on the top. Yeah, that's the ungot spot right there with the big old hole in it. So I cheated and added some like real nice essential oils to these the brain fat liquor that I'm using right here. So not only am I moisturizing this piece of leather, but I'm like basically ingraining a really good scent to it that it will have for a long time. It won't have that forever, but it will hopefully last a long time. Much better than the scent of I mean, brain doesn't really have a smell, but actually, this thing had like a fermented smell because it's tannin liquor that it was in. The bark tannin liquor that it was in really had that fermented kind of a smell to it. I used Bradford pears, so those ferment and create kind of a smell of a vinegary kombucha kind of a smell, you know. This is definitely aromatherapy right now. Besides the fact that it's very tactile, the process is very, very tactile. As I mentioned, if you just came in, my name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Welcome. Right now, I'm working on this. This is a deer hide. It's actually the brain solution I'm using is actually the brain from this animal, though I use it on other hides too. I mix it with egg yolks and olive oil. So separate the yolk from the egg, put it into olive oil with warm water. Warm water, not cooking the. You don't want to cook the yolk. And brain, I had a couple ounces of brain material added to it. And that's what I'm moisturizing this hide with at the moment. And as I've told you all, I pay a lot more attention to the center area. The outside is it's important, but it's not. To me, the main usable leather is going to be towards the center. Everything else is going to be turned into leather cords and odd and end pieces. We'll do the fur in just a second since that brings in those numbers, doesn't it? Who we got here? Man, I wish I had my reading glasses on. Tearing such. This morning I stretched out a cowhide on a trampoline frame so I can scrape it clean. Sweet. Twinsies are like we're doing the same thing at the same time, you know? That's the type of stuff that I would want to do. Like we both woke up wanting to do the same thing. That's going to be a good hide. Take care of that thing and do it the right way. Cowhide is the best. I mean, it is the thickest and the most durable leather that you can get. I think a lot of hides are durable enough to use, but cowhide is the thickest, I believe. Well, maybe like the buffalo. There's some wild animals that are larger that maybe are thicker. But cowhide is very desirable when it comes to leather. Probably the most standard uh, leather order is going to be for that. But thank you for being here. We're going to do this top side again here. What I want to do is actually make a bath of this fat liquor. Fat liquor, one word. FATLIQUOR, fat liquor. AI doesn't know everything. That's actually a one word. It's an ancient word, so it's been around forever. It's not just something just invented. Fat liquor in this case is made out of brain, egg, olive oil emulsion, and that got that lecithin in there, lecithin, and that fat liquor. I'd like to sit this in a bath of that overnight or a couple days. Let it soak in. It's got mostly water, but see, you've used emulsifier, so it's moved the fats around in the water. You've got the fat is beaded up and distributed throughout the water evenly, air quotes, because that depends on how much emulsifier you have in there. Trying to get these, crinkled edges, like where there's a neck or something straight, is kind of a lost cause, but you can use them for things that are in that shape. What I'm trying to do now is just break them actually so that they're more flexible. That's my whole goal, is to break this guy so it's flexible. Right now it's very, very rigid. Now I'm going to actually roll it diagonally here. You see how that emulsifies? The fats are like evenly distributed on the top of my hand. All right, so hopefully that helps with that. I'll get it in a warmer. I don't even need it to roll up nicely, really. Hey, if you're out there and you're working on a hide, finish. Like, keep going. That's what I'm saying. I need to get a sip of my drink real quick, y'all. Dry mouth. That hit the spot. All right. Kind of the same thing, y'all. This is a big old hair-on deer hide. It's been smoked. It's been brain tanned. It's been smoked. There's some spots that need some work, but you just keep working on it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it another coating of brain emulsion on this side here. We'll kind of flip it up and work it gradually, maybe. I don't want to break the grain on that other side. If it's too stiff to flop, you don't really want to always do that, because I'm trying to keep the hair. Remember, if you see any damage in the hair, that's stuff that was already there before I took it. This got such a good thick coat. It's a very warm coat, and that's what made me want to keep the hair on this. So let's soften it up with some brain emulsion. This really, these things are like works in progress for a long time. Don't ever kind of think right away you're done. If you're doing it the right way, it seems like at home you have to do a lot of this stuff. Still has a very strong cherry smoke smell to it, because I smoked it with cherry shavings. I've re-moisturized this with a towel, 2 towels today, to try to get it kind of supple again, supple enough to work. But again, this is a brain tanned hide right here. I didn't bark tan this at all. This is rudimentary. Like, I just scraped. I pulled this hide pretty cleanly. Maybe there's some spots I could go and scrape again. but I can't bucket or bait it because it has hair on. So you have a limitation of what you can do when it has that hair on there. Now, I'm putting a pretty thick liquid coating on here. I'm not sure that if I put this on, the hair won't slip, but I have to kind of risk it a little bit to soften this up. But it seems pretty, the hair seems pretty well in there now. I hope, knock on wood. Plenty of that around here. I know I'm behind on that chat. There's no way I could be updated on that chat. Everybody's real quiet today. But I'm glad you're doing your cowhide. That's good. Thanks for sharing that too, so that people can see that you do it. You know, you do it yourself. You know, that's what we're here to do too. Is like that, inspire you all, educate, you know, entertain y'all, and inspire you to do things. See, I'm still peeling stuff away on here. It may get re-smoked again too. I'm not against that. I got to set up the smoker to smoke these raccoon hides anyway. There's only one way to break this hide too, and that's on the non-fur side. So you can't break the hide on the fur side. You're going to lose hair. It's just how hair is. It's not going to do well with you breaking it on that side. So the only way to break it is on this underside. So you want to keep it soft. This one got a little bit rigid when I left it out here. I didn't even pin it up. It probably got smoked a little longer than the other one too. I'll show you the other one in a minute. What I'm doing now is I'm just kind of balling it up and messing around with the fibers in there, trying to get those to open up and break a little without messing the hair up, right? Thing. No, it probably would have been on. Is there another mic?
I'll go look. But just whatever you said, you gotta say all of it again.
Oh, okay. About answering
The question, and then you got to.
Oh, so here's what I do. I'm sorry, my mic died, guys, so I'm without a mic at the moment, but I can speak up. What I did was I can't afford to buy tannic stuff off of Amazon necessarily. So those little odds and ends, I'm trying to craft those myself. So what I did was study which plants have the most tannic acid in them, most tannins, and I collect those. So I started with mimosa bark, mimosa pods, then pecan shells, bitternut hickory nuts, bitternut hickory shells, sawtooth oak acorns, and now I'm using blackjack oak acorns, and I grind them into a paste. And those acorns are very tannic. And then I boil them and use that juice. So that's kind of what you're paying for when you buy tannic powder online. Maybe a little more concentrated, if that answers your question. Yeah, it sounds on, man, but it's an internal mic. Apologize, Jesus. If I got your name right, I can't hardly see. Let me put this on here. I might have Heather bring me on my readers. Man, the smell of this stuff is really good, though. So what I'm doing right now is I'm treating the flesh side of this deer hide with a brain emulsion. It's made with that last animal you saw that's leather now. It's that animal's brain, and then this is egg yolks and olive oil, and then warm water. I added some other essential oils to make the smell pleasant, because doesn't smell bad in here, but the hide is smoked, so it has a smoky, like smells like you've been sitting in front of a fireplace, you know. And so we can do without that, and with some smell like it's got myrrh and frankincense, all of that stuff in there. Thank you everybody for being here. My name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. At this moment, Miss Heather's trying to find me a good mic. I don't usually go micless, but sometimes it happens. So if you can't hear me, let me know, and I'll speak up a little more for you. But generally, we like to have good production value here, good audio and all of that. So apologize for the audio. So this is discolored because this was the first hide I've ever smoked. And I did some, this side got really toasted. And I was sitting there the whole time. But I think some of it, if I had it to do over again, I would be rougher on this flesh side of this hide and scrape it harder. But there's nothing on here. And if there is, I'll rip it off and we keep going and we smoke it again, you know? That's what you do. And what we're trying to do now is break it, soften it up so it can be used. But right now it's really firm, like rawhide-ish, you know? So I'm applying a brain solution to it to try to rehydrate it here. And then I will probably, either tonight or tomorrow, I will re-smoke it real gently. Doesn't need a lot, probably. Get those spots on there that didn't get got last time. This bottom area here is like maybe under smoked, and then this is like over smoked here. It was a little warmer. I think these would sink in a little bit better. It's amazing on your hands, so I don't mind using my bare hands to apply it. Not telling everybody to go like use brains as lotion, but it does work as a really good lotion. Zombies know something, don't they? Brains. Zombies know something. Sorry, I got to speak up. I don't have a microphone. My name's Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. Welcome. I'm brain tanning this hide right now. And moisturizing. It's already been smoked once, but it's probably going to get smoked again because we just want to make sure it's preserved, and I don't want to. Have hair loss on this thing. Suffered enough hair loss in my life. We have a few spots on here, but in general, the hide is a really thick coat. I'm trying to keep that. There's one little thin spot here. She got some scar tissue. Bucks always have the most scar tissue. Softening. Softening. Oh, sweet. Taryn said, thanks for the tannin sources. I'm excited to try a few of them out. The powered tannic acid I have came from ebonizing oak wood project. So generally ebonizing is going to mean that they added ferrous material to it. This is cool. Good info, man. Thank you for the comment, first of all. Second of all, when you ebonize something, that usually means that you're using a tannic acid combined with a ferrous material like metal shreds or like steel wool, right? So steel wool plus apple cider vinegar or any kind of acid, or steel wool and tannic acids, or tannic acids and metal equal black, right? They call that ebonizing. And you probably know this. I may be telling you something you know, but it's interesting that they sell it like that. Also, if you use a strong tannic acid, like from oak galls, right? An oak gall, even green, they have so much tannic acid in them. The tree is putting so much energy into defending itself. This is just my theory. The tree is defending itself from an attack by these gall wasps. So it's putting tons of tannic acid into that spot to try to repel them. And those oak galls, I think, have tons of tannic acid, and that's kind of where the old monks sometimes would get their ink from. So that, what else did I find? Oh, the caps of the sawtooth acorn. I saw one at Wawa, man. That's where I saw the sawtooth oak. I was dropping my kids off with their mother at Wawa, and oh no, I see some slippage. That's not good. There was a sawtooth oak right above my car, and I saw these funny looking acorn caps. I looked them up. They actually make a special dye out of those acorns. So sawtooth acorn caps, but any acorn cap pretty much, you're golden. They have tons of tannins, and the acorns themselves have tons of tannins in them. Pecans have it in this little part in the middle, and I forget the name. It has like an Italian name. It's the husk on the seed. And I've been eating a lot of pecans and breaking them open, saving the shells and all of the scraps for tannic acid. So a lot of that first hide is tanned with pecans as the main source of tannins. Appreciate those 84 likes, folks. What do we got going on in the chat? Someone say, I see a comment, that's a question, I don't want to miss it. How would someone tan / prep a raccoon hide for taxidermy? Taxidermy is different because you're taking a full cape of the animal, right? So with a raccoon hide like you see here, the head was removed. I wasn't playing around with any rabies or nothing like that, and that's roadkill too. So I removed the head, but you need to, the first thing you need to learn how to do is skin a head. Hold on one second. So I have a head here. It's got some hair slippage, but I did an entire cape, like I did a deer's entire face. That's how you have to prep it. You need to find out how to clean that raccoon head, like get every part of the eye. The eye is the tricky part. You gotta get your blade up under the eye, kind of. That's probably the trickiest part of it, in my opinion. If you're trying to taxidermy it, you need to ask probably a taxidermist. But you gotta cut. There's probably specific things about that raccoon's mouth you wanna do to make sure you get the entire like gum line and everything. You gotta get all of that for the taxidermist. Or if you are the taxidermist, because the taxidermist is going to want you to bring them all of that intact, basically. So I recently practiced by taking an entire deer, like the entire deer, and I did the entire deer skull, where I took the head and skinned the head properly, the way that they say to do it. It's not applicable to a raccoon, but there may be something specific about removing the ears that you need to know, because ears are tricky with these animals. they go in and have cartilage. Just like the tails, you got to be, you know, a little bit careful. Make sure you take all the way down to those ankles. So if you're doing the entire raccoon, it's getting taxidermy. You need to have the fur all the way down to the ankles, and ideally, even if there's like any fur towards the foot, you got to have that too. So be as absolutely meticulous with how you skin the animal. Take every bit of skin. They don't have much room to work with when there's not an entire body given to them. And then they have a number of chemicals they use, man, that, you know, formaldehydes and different chemicals they use to in forms now. Used to be a woodworking skill to build the forms. I don't like it till it's done. Oh my gosh, what am I missing here? Welcome, Wes, by the way. But I think I would probably refer you to somebody who's more of an expert. I would say, though, make sure that you take the entire animal's skin. That's my understanding, and part of that is like you have to learn little bits. Like I can tell you on a deer's head, getting it around the antler area is tricky. You have to use some tricks to do it. I've noticed that sticks can help you, like little dowels and stuff, bamboo, to get through tails and ears and noses and cartilage and stuff. That seems to work for me. Yes, Wes says, are we talking about Christmas decor? Yes, we're always talking about Christmas decor here on Dad's Workshop. It's always Christmas here, a little bit, kind of. Talking about Christmas decor. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I get it. Oh man, someone wants to know how to keep the fur on. It's tricky. This is my understanding. The fur lacks on with a couple different substances, right? And it can detach really easily in this process a number of ways. So to keep the fur on, the first thing you need to do is completely salt the hide. Salt the mess out of it with fine salt, thickly, like 1/8 of an inch thick across the whole hide, and stretch it out and dry it. And then after that, and I actually suggest you also use alum. Get you a big container of food grade alum, and this one has the brand name covered up. Don't get the small bottle, get the food grade. Get that, get citric acid, the powdered version of it. Mix the alum, the salt, and the citric acid. After you've dried it, scrape it again, put all of those on there, or like re-moisture it with towels. Put those on there, dry it again. This is the way I think is the best way to dry it. And I have very limited experience, but what I think is will dry a pelt and keep the hair. And then the other thing that you can do is expose it to tannins too. So with this one, it's very hard without chemicals. I'm trying to do it without chemicals. Here, this one I put in a tannin bath. You can see it's got 2 marks. That's ebonizing right there. That's from metal, right? So this one got a tannin bath and I smoked it. So I did both, right? The one in front of you right now is just smoked. So I think the best thing to do is to salt it, use alum, use citric acid. All of those are food safe, basically. And get it real dry. And then when you re-moisturize it again, you want to make sure that it's with emulsifying liquid like this, like a brain olive oil egg yolk. Moisturize it, the whole pelt, and smoke it. That's how you keep the hair. That's the natural way. There's other ways they do it chemically, I think, but that's the most natural way I think there is to keeping the hair. And I have limited experience, but that's been the answer I've been seeking, right? How do we keep the hair? And so I've been working at it in multiple ways. My video might answer that question. Everybody wants to ask that, so it's a common question. How do we keep the hair, right? Same question I've been asking. And so I'm trying to do the work by finding out whether this will work. So here's the other thing: is tannic acids also keep the hair, but I haven't seen it to where it can be applied fast enough to where the tannic acid works to do that. It may be a more long-term solution. So that's why I'm doing brain tanning and I'm doing bark tanning, so that I can try to combine these two disciplines and get something where the hair can be kept without buying some kind of crazy chemical, chromium or whatever you got to buy from the taxidermist, and try to do it the easy, natural way. And that is, I think, combining brain tanning and smoking, which I think you should do to keep the hair on your hide. So use alum, use salt, use citric acid. If you don't have all three of those, make sure that it is very salted, right? Then after you're done with that phase, you can smoke it. But there's other thing you can do to lock the hair in, allegedly, is to make a vinegar brine, right? Out of salt and vinegar and water. And make sure the pH is between 0 and 2, and put your hide in there for 1 or 2 days, no longer. Because I know I lost the hair in my hide, I put it in there too long. And the vinegar actually loosened up the pores. But it will lock the hair if you only put it in there for a day or so. So stuff I'm learning, you know. I did these two different ways to see how the hair is best retained, right? And you can kind of always go backward when it comes to making leather, but with fur, once the fur's gone, You can't go back and add the fur again. So I think it's trickier, and most of the time the tanners recommend, and the taxidermists and all those people, if someone says, I want to learn how to preserve stuff and they'll usually say tan leather first and then do the hair on hide after, because it is tricky. But they have chemicals they use. Taxidermists have some kind of chemical solution they use, and I don't know. It's I'm trying to do it the easy home way. You know. So this is getting more supple. I broke it on the beam a little bit. That's how I want it to be, but I also don't want to rehydrate it to the point where the bacteria in there can grow. So I'm tempted to re-smoke this again lightly. So that I can make sure that we don't lose hair, right? Because like you guys were asking, where the question was, how do we retain the hair, right? So the answer is that way: salt, alum, citric acid to close the hair follicles, and then a vinegar bath with salt for just a day or two, then smoke it. Or just go straight from scraping it to putting the brain tan material on. Use egg yolks, brain from the animal, or egg yolks and olive oil. Don't put egg white in there, but get the egg yolk, olive oil, and you can use other oils that are soft at room temperature, or liquid at room temperature, so that it won't freeze up on you, if that's how you desire. Obviously, if you're getting fur, you usually want it to be supple, right? So the general idea is we put the brain material on there, soften it with that, moisturize the entire hide, then you smoke it. And there's a bunch of ways. I'm going to make a video over the next week and a half or 2 weeks. I'll have a video out about how I experienced it and how I smoked it, and you can see how I did it on there. I basically made a hanger and put it over this hanger, and had a little fire in a bucket, and threw the cherry shavings in there and whatnot. Yeah, Wes said, do people make rugs from deer fur? That is a pretty pelt. So the answer, first of all, shout out to Wes, member of the channel, longtime friend of the program. So thank you, Wes, for the question. And the answer to that is yes. I was actually thinking that like this one would make a good rug. There's only one spot on the back there where it took a hit early in its life. This one I thought would make a good rug, but it can't take heavy traffic. I think the hair would rip out. I think it makes like a good throw, probably. If not though, just turn it into clothing, like hats and coats and stuff like that. It's warm. This belt is really nice. So I got to do this one too. That's the next on my agenda today. That one has tannins in it, and it has the brain tang and smoking stuff. Yeah, this one is super thick though. I got this one like when I and this was this, I don't know if I was on the phone with you when I was cleaning that. No, that was this deer. So yeah, this one is a big animal, but this is a buck, this is like a 10-point buck right here. Large animal, right? And what you just saw was a doe. So that was a large doe. You see how big that other pelt was? It's an amazingly large animal. She was pregnant, unfortunately. So that's probably part of it. Also part of why the pelt is so thick and warm, because of her body was, producing a thick and warm pelt to protect her pregnancy, probably. What stage of how many is this one at in your process? I think you mean like how many have I done, or like what number was this? I think that's what you're asking me. This one right here was like this one's gonna be number 2, I think. I think this is number 2, and then number 3 lost its hair. It's in the tannin bath, becoming leather right now. Number 4 is that one hanging up, and then number 5 is on the board. And then I have some raccoons and some smaller game stuff. This is actually feeling real nice right here now. I also have bark, and what I was thinking, the Eskimos would do this, and I got a shout out to Skill Cult for bringing this up. There's a book called The Secret of Eskimo Skin Sales, and it talks about the Eskimo technique of furrying and how they made skins, and they made beautiful skins, and they were fur on. And one of the things they would do was put alder bark, ground up alder bark that had not had the tannins leached out of it, so right off the tree, and it would go into, they would roll it up with the seal skins, and they would keep the hair better that way. So that was their trick. So the tannins was kind of how they did it. I'm sure they also have access to a lot of salt there. If they're collecting seals, there's salt around. So using salt is not a problem. Salt's like the number 1 way you're going to keep the hair initially. There's like, it's Wes, to be honest, it's a really tinkery thing. You could go on for a long time and perfect whatever piece you're working on for an indefinite amount of time. I think that like this hide is not my piece of leather that I just rolled up a minute ago. That's at the last stage. What I'm doing now is trying to keep that one supple while I get prepared to make it into a piece. And then the other ones, like the one I wanted to get to you, is in another tannin bath. Just kind of, I cut it the other day, and there was just a little sliver of white still at the bottom, so it's still not completely tanned. And sometimes it's about how much you work it. So like the tanneries, it takes a long time for their if they're doing bark tanning, for their bark tan skins to come out, because they put them through a tumbler, but they don't squeeze them out every day. Y'all saw me squeeze that pelt out every single day. I was taking it out, squeezing it out multiple times a day, even when I wasn't on live. So I made a leather skin in a month, but it can take years if you just leave them alone. If you just put them in the tannin bath, you can literally leave them in there for 2 years or something. Maybe check the tannin bath once or twice and put more tannins in there, and it could take, this process can take forever. So I hope I answered your question. Right now, this one right here, it's pretty close to done, but like, see, I just found a piece of flesh that needed to come off of there, and as I look under that right there, it actually is barely tan. So I have to make sure that like everything is good to go. And I told Heather today I probably will peel stuff off. If I see stuff that needs peeling, I peel it. And that's how you kind of have to be. And then if it's not fine, on this side, this kind of looks amateur hour right here. Honestly, I could probably have cleaned this better, fleshed this better. I think I was a little scared because I'm keeping the fur, so I gotta be easy. But yeah, no, this one's like pretty much done. It's been smoked. Once you smoked it, hopefully you preserved it then. I'm gonna smoke it again because I put that spot on it for sure. But thanks for the question, Wes. Hey, we're almost at 100 likes. Can y'all double tap that screen? Like this video. I won't stay on here all day and bother the airwaves with my animal processing and leather making, though I enjoy it. I'll probably be doing it more today, but I won't stay on the airwaves if it's tiresome. I have too much class to be tiresome. To a point. To a point. I got brains on my hand and I'm talking about how much class I have. I got brains on my hands. It's not human brains, okay? So don't freak out. I hope I answered all the questions there. If I missed somebody, sorry. I hear there's somebody in the wild. Someone said welcome. Man, I wish I had my glasses. Can't read that name there. It starts with an N. Yeah, it's very hands-on. Very, and it's very satisfying. Like the dude said, I forget the guy's name. I watched a lot of his videos to learn how to do this. And he stopped doing it. Like he's like, this is my last video on this. So I definitely can see it reaching a point of fruition, you know. But he has skins that he worked on. He literally pulled these skins out in a video that he had in there for 3 years. He had some lamb skins in this cup for 6+ years. I mean, they sit in the pile for some people who are doing or craft leather makers or whatever. Sometimes they do this they have it slow cooking, man, like taking years to make one piece of leather. So in my case, I'm trying to like do them reasonably. I want to see it done. I don't want to rush it though. I like the tinkery nature of it, you know. As you know, I like that kind of thing. When you can, and the fact that it's a craft and it's less of a science than an art, and you can kind of do it different ways. I love that too. That's an awesome thing as well about it. So in my journey of discovery here, like what I learned was that this is definitely something I enjoy. It is very, very, my hands the other night were exhausted though, because the squeezing of pelts, if you're trying to process them, and you can do a pelt like in a number of days. If you're up all night and you're wringing the thing out and you're constantly boiling new tannins and putting new tannins in, you could probably do a deer pelt in a week or 2. So I hope that like thoroughly answers the question. It varies how long it takes, but like in some of these, I've got the process kind of purposely slow here, just a little bit slow, so that I can make sure that I do things right, and we have good preservation. What I want is preservation. These things can last forever if you do it right. Oops. Put it straight into the liquor over there. Called fat liquor, what we're putting on there today. Seems like it's almost all the way in. It likes to, you know, it's a really good aqueous solution for a leather because it sinks right in. You want it to get in those fibers, and we can't do a whole lot with it. We can't be as rough with it because it has that hair on it. So thank you for the likes, everybody. This is Dad's Workshop. My name is Calvin. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. We are always looking for new folks, new friends, all of that. These edges I'm not. Where's my sticker? I made this little slicker. Woodwork. Shout out woodworkers. Shout out Wes and anybody else who's in here that does woodwork. Little slicker I made the other day. What I need is an awl, I think now, because I'm gonna have to learn how to sew this stuff. I don't know how to sew very well, and I need an awl, A-W-L, awl. What do we got here in the chat? Wes says it makes sense. Some things will get better with more effort and time to season. Yeah, and actually with leather, like the more you work it, it seems like the better it gets. The more time it gets in the tannin, the more thoroughly it gets preserved. The more attention it gets, like and broken it gets by the leather maker, the more soft and supple the leather is. And obviously the more they know too, because I'm just learning, so I have these little bits and they're rock solid. Now if you think about this hide, the hair is really nerve-wracking to me because it feels like it slipped a little bit more. Because I put it in tannin for like a week or two. It sat in a tannin bath, and that generally is a bad deal for hides. But this white part will all come off for the most part. That'll be turned into cordage and other pieces. And same thing pretty much on the other side. What you'll have is up to the neck and down to that spot on the back, most likely that'll get used. And this will get used as some other material. This is real soft leather down at the bottom too. Toward the butt and the back, that's like the softest stuff that there is. And the neck. So breaking these, I'm trying to break these against the beam on the flesh side so I don't pull hair out. Because even with the hair, set, being rough on the hair of anything, it can come out. So. That's how all the hair on the back of my head came out. People being rough on my hair, Heather pulled it out. No one's listening. Who do we got here? Minecraft Gold 22.95. This is a white-tailed deer. This was a buck hide right here, and it was partially brain tanned and partially bark tanned, and right now I'm putting more brain emulsion on it to try to soften it up because it's like rawhide in some spots. So thanks for the question. This right here, again, belly areas are really almost not, like I understand, not super worth your time. I always take the whole thing because you want to have all that as an option. Y'all can see scar tissue right here. Different, like you can't. I think over time you scrape the mess out of it and it sits in tannins long enough. I understand it actually can repair its own scar tissue. It can repair holes in itself, like little gaps and stuff. The tannins will fill in those gaps. So what I'm going to do eventually with this is actually roll some bark or chopped up acorns up in it. And saving the fur, yes. Trying to save the fur on the other side has been a main goal here, but also trying to what was the other thing? I also wanted to try to use bark tanning because I know it also helps preserve the fur, and I was a little worried about my ability to brain tan effectively and smoke it. I am still concerned about smoking is tricky. I think you kind of gotta get it, like it takes time. I definitely know how to get the embers to just produce plumes of smoke now. Like that was a trick I never really needed before. I was like, oh, so there is a way to do that, and I could share that with you. I'll definitely put that in my next video so that there's some value in there. There is a way to get the embers to only produce plumes of smoke. I smoked this hide and the other hide for 6 or 7 hours on Sunday, and I never had one flame up. The flames never came up in my fire source. It was always just smoking. So I know kind of what you have to do to not get those flame ups, which are the reason that the hides get ruined a lot. People burn their hides trying to smoke them. So knowing how to get that smoke, the plume up into the hide and trapping it in there, kind of. People sew them. And I think Native American people, some of them sewed them to their other fabrics. They'd sew a tube to it and then smoke it through the hide that way. It's a real intricate way to do it, but I could see last time how that would help, right? Yeah, thank you. You said really cool piece in process. Thanks. Yeah, it's a white-tailed deer buck there, and this was partially brain tan and partially bark tan, and right now it's getting re-moisturized. I just want to go after this side one more time right here. This side is so rigid. Just break that up. It's like rawhide over here. Might need a towel on there. That might be the way to do it. This one hasn't had towel treatment. The other one has. So that always helps bringing it back from the dead a little bit. Use a moist towel and bring back the moisture onto the flesh side and then address that. But remember, we were talking about ebonizing earlier. You can see those two spots where it's black are two ebonized spots where there's metal grains, and then the tannins reacted chemically to the metal grains. So when you buy an ebonizing agent, you're actually buying that on purpose. You're wanting to dye it. And that was used in the Middle Ages, you know, to people's advantage. Now, what I'm going to do now, real quick before I end, is I need to do these raccoon hides. I need to put a brain emulsion on there. These need to be smoked too, but probably a little scraping also, unfortunately. And also the hair is trying to be kept on these as well. What does the Minecraft do? What are we talking about? I get lost though. 6 or 7. 6, 7. There you go. Is that still a thing? No, probably not. It's months old. How could it be? You know. Now I used my draw knife yesterday. I'm going to tell you, effectively to clean. I have another hide in the house in the Tannin bath. A couple hides in there. A squirrel and a raccoon with no hair on it also. I want to make sure I don't have too much fat on here when I try to put this stuff on. Which is interesting because you could take the animal's own fat, render it, right? Take it off of here, liquefy it, mix it with that stuff, and then it would be useful. But the way that it's on there now is actually harmful to the process, so you got to scrape that off if you can. You know, if you're bucking it and putting it through a bunch of liming processes that'll take a lot of the flesh and stuff off, then probably not, but it's like not great to have that on there if you're going to go on to the next step. A lot of times it'll cause what's called grease burn, where you have fat that burns straight through, and I've had it on a couple of the hides I've found already, where the fat was like, it was so greasy in that spot. As soon as it died, it like just rotted the hide through. It's really weird. That number is just tomfoolery among the younglings. Carries no meaning except it be purposefully done for boisterousness. Oh, okay. I guess we have, I guess we fancy ourselves a bit of a wordsmith there, do we? Someone fancies themselves a bit of a wordsmith. Most of it's along the edge now. As a raccoon is a fatty animal. Knows how to talk to the old folks of the West. Yeah, my dad said it. Fire, take us. Let's go back a month or so. By a fire that my dad had built in the back. My dad was sitting next to me when I kind of had to pinch myself when I heard my dad say, "Oh, oh, yeah," and my dad has a strong Minnesota accent too, so it says, "Oh, 6'7". And I said, "Dad, you just actually made my day." I thought my dad was just too busy watching the news for it. Like his head is full of news. Well, that might be why. Maybe that's how he knows. He probably learned it on the news. Fervor is among the young people with this theme of 6'7". Hubert Smith is on the street reporting. Yes, Janice. Kids are out here just saying it over and over, Janice. 6'7". I don't know what they're talking about. You wouldn't know, man. Get away. Go away so we can skateboard and spray graffiti on stuff. You old geezer. Yeah, old timer. Sorry, I'm zacking out the whole scene. You guys don't like that? Let's shut up and scrape that eye. Sometimes you gotta laugh at yourself and others, you know. Particularly others, right? Gross. Gross. I want to take the draw knife over this thing, man. So badly. So badly. Let me wipe my hands off. Because I feel like there's more fat on there I'm not getting after. Oh yeah, that's right, Skibbity. Forgot about that one. Yeah, that's there's that one. Yeah, there's that one and stuff. There's all different ones and stuff and things and stuff. What was I gonna do? Oh, get the draw knife and try to spray this a little bit more fiercely. Generally, you have this thing tilted away from you at 45 degrees. Yesterday, I put a whole bunch of marks in another hide with this thing, so I'm not really worried about that here, though, because I got the fur on, so I'm not worried about marks in the other side of it. Generally, seems like maybe there is a layer of fat in there. This is like what a fleshing knife is for, but this is not a fleshing knife. Fleshing knife is generally stainless steel, right? So you don't put marks in your hide. But I need something strong here, and I'm convinced I've got stuff on the pelt that needs to be scraped, like this tallow layer on here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at the feet, it looks pretty good. You guys' view of it. These corners really, you can get it on those edges real well. Now we're cooking with oil. Now we're cooking with oil. Join me on a learning experience. See, this might be one you want to wash or degrease. But that's probably if you're doing the leather thing. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to lose the hair. So what I'm going to do is try to work with it. As fatty as it may be, that may help at the end of the day. That may keep it soft, which is what I want. I want it to be soft. I don't want to take the softness out of it. But I also don't want things that are going to spoil it, like too much tissue. I want to be in control of that to some extent. It's kind of the art of this, is being in control of the softness or not softness of it. Shout out to all my members. Shout out to all the friends in the chat. If you're not a member, you can become a member. There's a little $sign down there. All you gotta do is click that little $sign and join. I think I got 30 some members right now, but only some of those members are renewing. So if you are gifted a membership and you're hanging out, be sure to renew that membership and become a member of the fam here. You know, if you have the means, I understand times get tough, but I want to put that call to action out there. But here's what you can do, even with no money. Double tap that screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend. Double tap that screen, like the video, subscribe to this channel, and share this with a friend and let somebody know who's into this kind of stuff, that you're here. We're doing different stuff than regular here. We're trying to mix two different kinds of tanning and different disciplines here to create different leather products, which circles back to woodwork in a whole bunch of ways, because when we're building a piece of furniture, say a piece of fine furniture inside of a house, I always wanted to build an indoor chair that had a certain throw to it, like a fur throw to it. So we can combine these arts. You know, it's always good to combine with the woodwork and the other crafts and see what you can come up with. I got some things to learn. I gotta learn how to sew it, y'all. I don't know how to sew it. I do know how to make the leather though, so that's part of it. And what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna moisturize this with a brain emulsion, because I think I scraped it pretty good there. That's probably more that could come off, but we're gonna moisturize it. I'm not gonna work against nature too much here. Hey, Nikki New, how are you? Oops. Nikki New says she's pretty good, just got home from work. Well, glad that you got home safely. Glad that you got home safely. I want everybody to get home safely, including my own sons, if they are coming home from school soon. Everybody who's on their way home, travel safely, please. The road is a dangerous place. What I'm doing right now is treating this with a brain emulsion. This is a raccoon hide. It's going to get treated with this brain material, and then it's going to get put on board again, and I'm going to smoke it tonight over a little bit of like a bucket. Now I won't call it a fire. I will start a fire, and it will be in on a stand over a little bucket that I'll put a couple embers in, so forth. It is a little bit of a process, I'm not going to lie. Nikki says, or Fusion Rocket says, early night for me though. I think I've been a busy few days, and the next few gonna be full on too. Well, we understand that, Nikki. Nikki's from the UK. Shout out to all the UK folks. Shout outs. Make sure that you double tap that screen, like this video. My name's Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop right now. You see me working on a raccoon pelt. It needs to get smoked. It's getting brain tanned right now. I'm putting a brain solution. That also has some essential oils in it, so it doesn't smell bad. It has a great smell to it. I put some, I think it's got some frankincense and myrrh, and there's a lemon oil and a rosemary, oregano oil in there that also, I just don't, the smoke smell kind of off-putting on a piece of clothing. I mean, unless it goes away. it can be a little bit aggressive. So the brain solution, I'm gonna use some essential oils because brain doesn't really have smell. There's no real smell to it. Thanks for the 120 likes, folks. We love to get that here. That's what I say. So here's what you can do for free. You can like this video, you can subscribe to the channel, and you can share this with a friend. Absolutely, if they're into this. If they're not, that's probably not a very good idea. You know, I wouldn't suggest it. Wes says holiday season has everyone moving and shaking. I agree, Wes. Moving and shaking. That's right. Moving and shaking. And this animal literally has so much fat on its body, it's amazing. I have not seen an animal like this before. Not even the muskrat or anything like that. It's amazing. But now we've done that, I might throw a little bit of alum on there, like some food grade alum. I could salt it again, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to throw a little more brain tank solution that has those oils in it. Keep this hide moist and supple, because it's not rotting. I'm not having a problem with putrefaction or whatever, putrefaction, that's what we call that. Uh-oh. Nikki said she has to double some classes to make up for some she misses over Christmas. Gotta keep that money rolling in. Double some classes out. Okay, that's right, teaching classes, yeah. Sure. Yeah, for sure. So here we have a raccoon hides a male, big animal, fairly big, beautiful animal, very regal animal. So that's that animal, and it's about ready for smoking. The whole thing's been kind of moisturized and scraped. I'm kind of somewhere between understanding why that needs to happen and fully understanding it, because it's so fatty. I'm like, how am I adding it? Why do I need to add those to an animal? Like, even this is a female right here. Look how much less there is to that. Like, first of all, the animal's much smaller, and then there's just so much less fat. The male had so much fat on him. Maybe it's just age or, maturity, dominance, something like that. Alright, so scrape the salt off of here real quick, because that's not going to do me any good. Get my tool right away. This I would like to have gloves on for, because this salt just messes your hands up so bad. Hey, what's up, Cedar Grow Box? Hey everybody, Cedar Grow Box got a channel. By the way, Wes does it, long-time member, friend of the program. Has an awesome channel. It's a DIY channel and contractor for many, many years. Snappy channel, good video production. Check out Wes Does It's channel as well. And then also, we have other folks in here. You should check out their channel too. Cedar Grow Box, who just popped in, is growing a channel as well. He was live earlier today. kind of an odd way to scrape, but it works for the live stream. Generally, your beam would be 45-degree angles downward from you. I get that. And I want this salt off here. This stuff messes your hands up so bad. That tissue there. See if I can find an edge on there. I'm gonna be a little vicious with this right quick. Getting this walnut process. Oh, that wood you had on there the other day, though, on one off the pallets, man. Pallets generally don't have good wood on them. There's a few groups of wood that they use for it. Most of it is commercial wood. You know, commercial southern yellow pine. Whatever the wood that's available from that part of the country is. In the Pacific Northwest, they have a lot more Douglas fir. But here we have white pine, what might be called select white or white wood and stuff in the store. White pine, red pine, which is from the Northeast, that's their like crop tree. And then southern yellow pine, a little more expensive. Douglas fir. So those are probably what a pallet is made of. If it's a hardwood, it's poplar, because that's the one that they buy straight, very little lateral branching. So if there's an offcut, or if something's like it's able to be made, they use that on pallets. Most of the pallets that I ever got, if they were hardwood, it was poplar. And the little chocolate streak in the wood that I saw that you were talking about, and the color difference, that's common with the heart on poplar wood. Yellow tulip poplar. Which grows all over the place down here. I don't know. Yeah, you guys got it up there too. In the Midwest, it was grown between farmsteads because it grew fast and straight and provided a windbreak. So I hope I didn't just damage that grain right there, damage that flesh. That didn't feel good. So up in Minnesota, you see a stand of trees around a farmstead. You know, you see the horizon is just flat, and you see a farmstead, and there's a group of trees around it. The only place there are trees are riverbeds and farmsteads, right? In the plains where the grasses grew. The only places trees grow are in riverbeds and farmsteads. And the trees in Minnesota, a lot of those would be, you know, people would plant walnuts and stuff like that occasionally, but mostly poplars. They planted them quickly to build a windscreen against, you know, tornadoes or whatever. I don't know why, but windscreen, I think, is not my understanding. I hope that's not a hole. A lot less fat than the male. And this is the process. Wes was asking me about processes. Pulling the schmutz off the bottom of a pelt, like it's kind of a multi-step process, because then you find that there's tissue on there that you should have gotten off, right? Like this right here needs to come off. And if you can get up under it like a piece of tape and get the whole thing off, it kind of works better. On the hide, when you're first pulling it, it's like you can get your fist up under there. And right now it's not going to scrape. Not with my setup. You guys have seen me do this before, struggling with one of these. Oh wow, it's really tight on there. I want to get the whole thing up at once. That's my goal here. So you don't want to rip that off. That is on there tight. Not gonna cooperate. So the other thing to do, if you were not trying to keep the hair, you could buff this and soak it in a lime solution, and that tissue would free up and you could scrape it off. But it's not going to scrape off right now with the salt situation, so I just have to rip it off wherever I can. That's the situation I'm in. And over time, I think smoking it, kind of scraping at it, you can get it, but it's kind of a pain. With the fur on, you have to be a little more, either when you're first taking it apart, you got to get more off, or you got to work at it. I'm going to build a new fleshing beam. I got a piece of cedar over there, half a cedar log. That's perfect for it. As you see, I got that piece there. And that looks like that fatty tissue we were talking about. Yeah. So there seems to be a layer of skin in the neck. That's not on all animals. Something I'm learning. You know, you live and you learn. Figure this stuff out. Definitely tallow. I mean, the texture is like softened butter. Somewhere like this. Nope. Too soon. So this kind of is the process, man. And as you're going on, you keep doing this as much as you have to, and mostly scraping. A lot of people scrape at it forward. So you have it on your beam, 45-degree angles down. And I've got the cedar log. I gotta make a new beam. But even this hive would kind of be hard on there because it's small, so I don't know how you would deal with that. Probably put it up towards your stomach area. But that actually, I think the blade helped free that up, and then we were able to pull some tissue away. Okay, I'm going to scrape this a little bit. I'm going to put this stuff on here. The back side of this bone tool I have actually scraped pretty effectively. Yeah, these raccoon hides seem to have a layer of skin and then another layer of fat. So it's a little different than a deer. It's just that layer, and then you have a layer of skin down there, but under it, it's just pure hide, no fat. On these raccoons, there is fat under that layer of, it's like a subdermal layer. They got another membrane there. Under that membrane is more fat, probably stored fat, insulation, you know, whatever, but more fat. I'm going to review what we did today, just kind of bounce that off of people so they can see if they're interested in this stuff. Plus, I'm working on a long form video right now about my whole experience with this. You know, the whole idea of self-indulgent, like picking up an animal off the road, picking up a roadkill, and actually doing that, like the process of actually doing that, and turning it into material. How kind of crazy an idea it is. No, I didn't soak these hides. I straight up dried these because only thing I might soak these in is brine, but I don't have a brine bath ready right now, so they need to wait until I can brine them. That would be the next way to keep the hair without and that might help actually remove some of that tissue that you're talking about that you just Googled. Yeah. So I have not soaked this because I wanted to keep the hair, and I understand the wetter you get it, the more likely the hair goes. But you're right, there is a layer of what you call adipose tissue. I'll take your word for it. That subdermal fat layer. Thank you for doing the research for me. That definitely is not the same as these other animals. It's unique so far. I even on the I had a muskrat, and I have it in here somewhere. All right, here's a muskrat. I need to also moisturize this too. I keep forgetting to do that. Here's a muskrat pelt, kind of a willy-nilly cut, but it's the whole pelt pretty much besides the head. This didn't have that. You see it tan, it's kind of thinner. It's still really warm because of the 2 layers of hair. Muskrat spent a lot of time in the water. And it's a good texture too, but it's not, it didn't have the fat in it that this raccoon had. So I'm gonna put this raccoon back over there. Let me put a little more brain stuff on here, and then I'm gonna put some of that on this muskrat hide. It may, Minecraft, it may need to be soaked in a vinegar brine for a couple days and scraped again. You don't want to smoke something that has that fat on it. You don't want it to spoil. If that fat's going to spoil it, you don't want that to happen. So I might need to look at a way to get rid of that fat by scraping properly. Just due diligence, right? And the other way is to soak it in that brine and then scrape it and then put it over the smoker. Don't smoke it just yet, probably. Let me do this real quick, y'all. So your question is a fair one. Did you soak it? And yeah, soaking is no. I didn't soak that pelt. It's one of the only pelts that didn't get soaked. This one did. Seems like whenever you soak them, though, you definitely risk the hair slipping, right? I've had the hair slip for sure on 2 hides, and I've had it try on a couple, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna. But once it starts slipping, that's pretty much it. That's all you get. Like, it's gonna go. So you might as well bucket at that point, which means remove the hair. Put it in some kind of solution, vinegar. I have not done a lot of bucking my hides or even baiting them, which is putting them in bacterial solutions to try to loosen flesh and tissue. Those processes, I think they do beneficial things to the hide. So you want to think about those. If I'm going to include those in my kind of thing today. Let me get this salt up my hand real quick. I want to thank everybody for being here today. It was an awesome day. We had a great time. We always have a great time. Do make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and become a member of the family. Consider becoming a member by clicking that little dollar sign down there. But even if you're not, you can always subscribe, like, and share with another person. That's always very helpful. This one's been smoked, I think. This is the hide that I think is as Wes asked earlier, would be the closest to ready to use. Next to that leather that I'm also conditioning, this muskrat, this piece of muskrat hide here, it's actually almost the entire muskrat hide. All I want is you can feel there's a warm layer in there like you could split the skin, I think, and there'd still be another layer in there, but it's not fat. It's something else, more collagen or something. You know, it definitely. What I've been trying to do with this one is tease that softness back out of it, because when I had it in the tannin bath for a week or so, I was able to get, it was really, it felt like it was going to be incredibly soft, and then I dried it on a board and smoked it, and it was gone. So it's really kind of dry now. But I've been breaking it kind of gently, if that makes sense. Kind of an oxymoron, breaking gently. But breaking being the terminology in leather making, where you are breaking the fibers up to try to soften the leather. That's what we're doing. That little hole right there looks like. These are gonna make like real warm mitten or mukluk or boot or a moccasin type lining. Take this nasty stuff off here. I'm gonna moisturize this one more time. I broke it over the beam. It's nice and soft there too. Nice. Take this side and do the same thing probably. Hey, Plywood Tom, also known as Plywood, welcome. Remember? Literally, you see lines on the flesh side that's being put into it, but I need it to be bendable in all directions. All right, I sacrificed some of that when I bark tanned it, you know, but I'm trying to, after I worked on it a little, there's a couple little gaps and I can see there's a hole there. A couple little holes actually kind of closed when I put it in the tins, which is cool. But I'm gonna wrap it up for today, guys, ladies and gents. I'm gonna show you what I did. This is what we did. We worked on brain tanning. This is a brain tanning solution here. Mixture of brain and egg yolk and olive oil. We did that stuff, things and stuff and things. We did that on this whole pelt right here and softened it up so it's supple like a baby's butt. I don't know if that expression is proper, but we suppleized this. We suppleized it. This one here. Still smells a little smoky for my tastes. I'm gonna go after it offline. And then we did this one too, which was also bark tan and brain tan. We did this one also. Made it nice and soft and suppleized that too, since that's a word in the vocabulary. Made it supple. And then we did the raccoon hives, and we talked all kinds of smack about all kinds of people. No, we didn't. We're nice and polite. We were polite and kind and gentlemanly and gentle-ladily. Thank y'all for being here. My name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. You subscribe to the channel. Thank y'all, and we will have y'all back again. You know, I'll be back tomorrow. Pretty soon. I'm gonna take a little time off for Christmas, so don't be mad if there's a little gap in Dad's Workshop. Try to get it in now while you can. Dad's Workshop. Do the next right thing. Take care. I'm Calvin.